A lovely evening as usual, guys. So today I want to talk about, in fact, what I was talking about on Radio Bob today. If you missed it, we were talking about the mysterious sport or business or practice that is called pigeon racing. So, did you know that pigeon racing is a huge thing, not only in the world, but here in South Africa? And what is most interesting, I was sharing with my guys on Radio Bob, is that this caught my interest is that about a week or two ago, our president was caught in hot waters because he has denied it, of course, involved in an organization that benefits or practices pigeon racing. And of course, they've said that this is cruelty to animals. But the topic of today is not whether he's involved in that or not. The topic today is the whole aspect of pigeon racing. So, guys, apparently, as we know, pigeon racing or pigeon messaging, pigeons, in the olden days, they were used as messengers. So if you didn't have a telephone back in the day, you would use a pigeon to send messages around. It wasn't as individual, of course. There'd be specialized people that would train them, and they'd be used for this. They were used during the times of war, to be sent to send different messages. They were even used as satellite cameras, and of course now we've evolved, and maybe people feel that because we now have phones, we don't need pigeons anymore. Same way with horses. At some point there were modes of transport, and maybe now 100 years down the line, people will feel like we don't need horses. In that way, it's cruelty to animals. But what I found interesting is that, did you know that in South Africa, one of the most prominent pigeon racers, the wealthiest business pigeon racing participant is actually a black guy by the name of Prophet Khatebe. His actual name is Samuel Mbiza. So Prophet Khatebe is the name that he uses when he's doing his spiritual work. So he owns a church in Hillbrow called Revelation Church of God, and I've visited the church. It's downtown next to Hillbrow, a very big mega church. But interestingly enough, he's always been involved in the sport of pigeon racing. So he's bought this 3-year-old pigeon for 5 million rand together with his business partner. Actually, he outbidded the Chinese syndicate out of the pigeon. So and he says that his biggest desire is to transform the pigeon industry. In fact, he owns a business place called the Pigeon's Loft, and I'm going to be playing you his clip just now. On the dark side, a few years ago, again, authorities realized that the pigeons around the Westville area were not flying as usual, and they found out that prisoners were using pigeons to transport cigarette messages, and extremely now, to the extreme end, which is where I think that's cruelty to animals. They were even using them to transport like cell phones, SIM cards and other heavy stuff. So we know that this is a very it's active. I mean, in my community a while ago, there's a neighbor who found a pigeon, and it had a tag, and that tag said it belonged to the pigeon racing community. So I think this is an active thing. But what worries me once again is that we Africans, we are not involved in this conversation, as rigorously as we should, because the conversation around this pigeon racing is more commercial than anything. And what really, really bothered me is that when you look at us Africans, this has always been the way we've lived. This has always been part of our civilization, using pigeons. But when colonialization came, it eradicated that and left us with the corrupt spiritual side of it, where people are using pigeons for animal sacrifices, because also pigeons symbolize love and peace. People therefore use pigeons to bring back lost lovers or break up lovers who are together. But I'm thinking, can we put our minds into thinking, what if you sacrifice that pigeon, and that was the one pigeon it was going to bring you $5 million into your account? Why slaughter a pigeon to bring a lost lover when you can have a pigeon that can bring you 5 million and have everybody following you around and wanting to be your lover? So what I'm saying is I feel that we need to really scrutinize again. This is what Nubian Crescent is about. We really need to interrogate, scrutinize, and really critique ourselves, our cultures and traditions, and say what works for us, what doesn't work for us. Please, the commercialization and the usage of pigeons has always been our practice. I'm not saying let's follow Europeans what they're doing, because actually what they're doing they saw and stole from us. But I really want to share with you this clip. Please listen up. I really hope you are going to enjoy it. And let me just get it up and running. It's giving me grief. Okay, there we go. Ready.
South Africa is on a mission. He's trying to create a job opportunities through bird racing. Breeding and training of pigeons for racing is a relatively uncommon sport among black South Africans. But Samuel Mibza feels that sport has the potential to help disadvantaged youth soar out of poverty. Here's a story.
The pigeons are coming home after a day of training. They live at Samules Loft, a club for racing pigeons in Walkerville, 30 kilometers south of Johannesburg, often termed as South Africa's second city. The owner of the club, pigeon fancier and world champion racer, Samuel Mbiza, has worked with pigeons since he was a child, shooting birds out of the sky with his slingshot.
As a young boy, we kept pigeons, but what we call your park pigeons, your street pigeons. So we take our slings and shoot them on top of roofs and after tame them and so forth. But my mother was a person who was unique, and she loved unique things, different things. So besides those normal ones that we shot from the roofs, my mother bought me fin tails, those ones with big tails, the beautiful ones.
Last year, Mbiza made history by bidding and buying Belgium's best long-distance racing pigeon for a record $350,000. His plan is to breed the bird, nicknamed the Usain Bolt pigeon, and create a legion of champion racers from South Africa. Getting pigeons fit to race can take up to a year. They must be old enough and used to their home. For a basic race, birds are taken a distance away, and the one that returns home first wins.
I teach them how to fly outside, how to train them. So in the morning we wake up, first we take them out, we chase them for 1 hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes when they're still young. When they grow up, we start to take them out with the bakkie, we basket them, we take them out, 20 Ks, 40 kilometers, 60 kilometers, up to 100. Like from this week, we train them 100 kilometers.
The sport is worth millions of dollars. In some races, first prize can go up to $1 million, and the entry fee is as high as $1,000.
I would really encourage, and everyone knows that in South Africa we are facing a lot of challenges financially, especially in the townships. There are no more jobs, things are not good. So why not a sport that is a good hobby, take them away from crime, and also a sport that can empower them financially. There's no better one than pigeon racing.
Animal rights groups have been calling for a ban on pigeon racing, saying it is cruel. Pigeons flying long distance are exposed to various hazards like prey and other flying objects or power lines. Some die on the way home, while others get injured. Bureau Report, Beyond.
How interesting is that? And that wasn't even a local, television station. That was a Belgium television station. So we are having our successful people, renowned successful people being celebrated across the seas, whereas here in our own country, we don't even recognize and are not even aware that this is a big cash cow. And of course, while the jury is out on the cruelty thereof, I think it's something that we really need to dig into as we are, growing into agriculture, livestock farming. If you breed chicken like I do, I think actually pigeons are way easier. They take less space and they make more money. So let's think about that. Like I said, the owner is in Samuels Loft. So if you are interested, you can check them out, maybe check out their website, or you can go to Revelation Church and maneuver your way to the bishop or the pastor or the prophet. And I'm sure he'll be more than happy to train as many more Africans as possible in this industry. God bless and all the best.